right, so let's get started lying on our backs. Have your have your ball within reach. But we'll just start lying on our backs. And knees bent. And just allow your arms to rest comfortably. And you can begin by scanning the body. Let's just start with the feet. Noticing the alignment of the feet. Making any adjustments if you notice that one might be turned out. And then let your attention travel up to the back of your hips. And this can be curious. We've been talking a bit about hips. If you've got tightness in the hip flexor or really anywhere in the hip, you might feel a difference in how the hips connect to the floor. So just notice, and sometimes bringing your attention there is all you need in order for that habitual pattern to release. So habits can be very efficient, so we don't have to think about everything. But if we develop a habit that's not serving us, taking these momentary scans to just notice some of the habits in our body can be really valuable. And now let your attention travel to the mid-back. Again, I think we talked about last week where, if you really enjoy twists, you may notice that one side of the ribs isn't connected to the floor as much. And again, that could be a sign that, one side is a little tighter and needs some stretching, and this could be why you're gravitating towards twists. And if you do notice, I invite you as we go through our practice to notice if twisting in one direction or the other feels better. And if so, you may want to hold that side longer. So when I suggest the transition, go to that side first, and then just linger a little bit before transitioning to the other side. Give that side a little bit of extra attention. And now notice the shoulders, the back of the shoulders. Notice how they connect to the floor. And then also notice if one might be hiking up towards the ear a little more. And notice how the arm bone rests in the shoulder socket. And now focusing on the breath, breathing into the belly and the ribs. And then exhale, ribs and belly. Inhaling belly and ribs, holds the breath, and then tighten. So when you breathe in, and you can let go of your breath whenever you need to, when you breathe in, the belly and the ribs inflate. So you hold the breath, but see if you can return to sort of the what it would look physically like in your belly. So I don't know if I explained that very well. Let me try again. So you breathe in, belly and ribs. So you don't let go of the breath, but it's like you did in that the belly draws in and the ribs draw towards each other. And then let go of the breath. So do that 2 more times. Breathing in belly and ribs. Hold the breath. And then exhale, ribs and belly. And one last time. Breathe in belly and ribs. Hold the breath, but tighten. And then let go. All right, let's take the arms out to the sides. Palms are us, and heel toe your feet so they're even wider than your shoulders. And ease into this slowly, being very mindful of the knees, the windshield wipering of the leg. So we've been talking a lot about hips. Now, when the hips are tight, they may signal the body not to drop the knees further to the ground. But if we're not aware of that signal, then the knees can take it upon themselves to try to bring themselves closer, and that can put strain on the knee. So we don't want to feel any strain here. We just want to feel a nice stretch. And if it feels all right, let the knees drop to the right. And now just visualize that left hip getting longer. Just a nice, intuitive listening to the body lengthening of that left thigh. And even the space just to the inside of that left hip bone. And then inhale back up through center and let the knees drop in the other direction. And remembering to breathe. As you breathe in, see if you can direct the breath to the front of this hip. Now, we've talked before about how the hips can get in what's called a locked short position or a locked long position. So we don't want to force the stretch here. And that's where allowing the breath to do the stretching from the inside out can be really beneficial. Inhale back to center and heel toe the feet together. Draw the right leg in, clasping behind the thigh. And there's that extension of the foot. Flex the toes back towards the wall behind you, and then you bend. And do this in rhythm with your breath. And then take that right ankle across the left thigh. Yeah, not forcing, just allowing that right knee to feel heavy. And just gravitate away from the wall behind you. And then switching sides. So you draw the left thigh in, clasp behind the thigh, and then just begin stretching. Making sure you flex the foot. And then crossing that left ankle over the right. And release that foot. Right, you're going to grab your inflatable and we're going to roll chest down or belly down. And I just want to check in, Laurel and Elise, do you have any requests? You can either put it in the chat or just shout it out. We've had a request for lower back and hips, and then kind of rolling out the chest because of the recent smoke and stuff. So
Sounds great.
okay. All right, so we're going to take the ball and we're just going to put it right on the chest. This is where you can let some of the air out or you can add some air depending on how it feels. And your hands are crossed and your forehead rests on your hands. And we're just going to take a few breaths here with a contract and relax. So I mentioned last week when if you have an area that's really tight, sometimes doing the contract relax can be a good tool to allow the muscles to let go of the holding pattern. So here you're going to breathe in. So you inflate the chest and then press the forearms into the floor. Imagine you're dragging your elbows back towards your hips. And then release that. So you breathe in, press the forearms down, draw the elbows back towards your hips, and then release. We'll do that one more time. Breathe in, press down, and then release. Now you can take your arms out to the side, maybe tense your fingers. And this is where you're just going to sort of let the ball roll from right to left. So we're getting the pectoral muscles, which for many people can be really tight. My first awareness to that was when I took one of, the little hard balls against the wall. I couldn't believe how tight my pectoral muscles were. And it's not uncommon to feel a little as stuff is moving. And you can have the knees bent so that your whole body gets a little bit more slithery. And we'll just do a couple more rolls. If this is feeling really good, then you just hang out here. I'm going to move to other body parts though. We're going to move on to our left side. You may want to grab a block for a pillow. And the ball is going just above the hip. And you use the pillow to rest and you stack your knees. You breathe in. And then you tighten. So you're drawing your lower rib and your hip towards each other. And then you let go. Breathe in. Tighten. And let go. Breathe in. Tighten. So you're arching over to the side. And then let go. And then just a little bit of rolling back and forth here. And you're doing sort of a pelvic tilt. And we're trying to get the hips in all directions here. I will be cueing to go belly down, and that can be a tender area. So we want to try to approach it from the side. If it's too much, when you roll belly down, you can either let go of some of the air in the ball, or you could stay here with this action. All right, you're going to extend the bottom leg long and the top leg comes across. Breathe in. And then lift the bottom leg up. Flex the foot. So you're going to feel that the pressure in the ball here. And let go. 2 more like that. Breathe in. Lift the bottom leg up. Lower. Last one. Breathe in. Lift. And let go. All right. Now rolling belly down. So the ball is coming just above the left hip. So this is, you can stay up on your forearms first. So this can be really therapeutic for the psoas muscle. Just roll side to side. Now, if you feel comfortable, you can put this right on the skin, and that's gonna actually grab the skin and the fascia, stretch it, hydrate it. You can feel free to stay right here, or you could drop down. We'll do the contract relax here. Breathe in, and then press the top of the foot into the mat, and then let go. 2 more times. Breathe in, press the foot into the mat, exhale. Last one, breathe in, press into the mat, let go. And just a few more swish, swish side to side. Noticing if you feel things loosen up at all. And also notice the lower back. Is there any effect on the lower back as you roll this out? And then we're going to roll onto our right side. So the ball will go above the right hip. And you may want to just take a moment to notice if there's any difference in the two sides of the body. Side you did, and then the side that is to be done. So knees are bent. You breathe in. And then tighten. So you're arching. So it's like the what is that? The half moon pose. You know, when you're arching to the side, that's what we're doing here. And then release. Breathe in. And then tighten. And again, if this is not a move that you do often, it may, you may be like, oh, it's not moving. Exhale. And it will come. The more you practice it, will reestablish those brain connections. So breathe in. And then tighten. And exhale. All right, so you can start first with the pelvic tilts here. So you're like doing a cat pose and then a cow pose. And the ball is rolling across that quadratus lumborum and preparing you for the belly down variation. And then you can extend the bottom leg long. The top leg is across. You breathe in and lift up the bottom leg. And you might notice there's a big difference in the two sides of the body, the two legs. Exhale, release. Breathe in and lift. And lower. Last one, lift. And lower. And just roll this out a little bit. And when you're ready, take it onto the foot. And again, especially if you have an injury, you may find that the two sides are quite different. And if this side is more intense, you can stay on the side, let the air out. You can stay up on your forearms or drop on down, letting the head rest on the back of the hands. You breathe in, press into the top of the foot, and then exhale, relax. So I've got the ball right on the front of my hip here. Do 2 more of those. We're breathing in. Press into the foot. So that's going to tighten the muscles. And then when you exhale, maybe the ball goes deeper into the deeper muscles. Breathe in, press into the floor, and let go. You can just go side to side here. letting the ball go across the cross fibers of the muscles. And when you're ready, we'll transition to table pose. You can slide the ball to the side, have your blocks in front of you as you're in your table pose. Just want to check in. Is everyone doing all right here? Some of this might have been hard to see. Any questions before we move on? Jane, did you have any questions? Or we'll catch up at the end. Okay. All right, so a few rounds of cat and cow here. You have your new spacious hip flexors. So arching the spine and then pressing around. Do that a couple of times. All right, in a neutral spine, take your hands on your blocks and step the right foot forward. So I mentioned in the beginning that there was a sequence that I love to do in the morning, and I kind of, well, I don't like to do it. I like it when it's done. And I kind of force myself to do it before I even go out into the yard, and it makes a big difference. And it's this, we've done this. You straighten the leg and you bend it. And I just do this a few times. It just gets the circulation going. It gets the joints moving. And then if I'm feeling it, I lift the back knee off the ground. And I take this into a high lunge. And I'm including my spine and my neck here. So when the knees bend, I slide my shoulders away from my ears. We're getting the blood flow here as well. And when you're ready, just switch sides. And you're straightening and bending, slide the shoulders away. Again, first thing in the morning, you may want to walk the blocks back because, again, things are still just warming up. And you can lift the back leg up and do the high lunges. And then lower the back knee and do the front leg back to meet it. Let's do that puppy pose where the arms are extended and you melt the upper back here. And then slide down into your forearm plank. So this is a sort of a sneaky way to stretch the front of the hips. Now, if this is not comfortable, then you drop right down here. Again, we're still stretching the front of the hips. And just take a few breaths. Breathing in and out of the nose. If you're in the Sphinx pose, a gentle reminder to slide the shoulders down the back of the body. Just notice the lower back. Is the lower back easing into a gentle arch, or is it resisting? If it's resisting, maybe you come down a little bit lower. You could take the ball here, also for support. Because you want to try to find that arch in the lower back that is encouraging stretch. It's encouraging the body to open up and melt into the arch, but it's not so much that the body fights it and creates a restriction. When you're ready, press your way up to table. And then either a child's pose or a downward dog. And invite intuitive movements, maybe pedaling out the legs, maybe just shifting the hips side to side. And then we'll meet back up in table with the hands on the blocks and step the right foot forward. So we're in a knee down lunge again, and let's just do a couple of times, stretching and extending. All right, so one of the things we talked about also was the core when we're doing our lunges. So let's hold our low lunge and think about drawing the the front heel back and the right knee forward. And then imagine there was a big beach ball in between your two thighs and you're hugging them together. Now, can you lift that left arm up? That's going to create more of a stretch in that psoas muscle. And then can you arch over towards the right? And then come back to the center. Lengthen that front leg. And then just let that leg sort of wiggle in the hip socket here. Rebend the knee. And let's switch sides. And take a minute and just notice if there's any difference in the two sides. So we just do 3 of these where we go from straightening to flexing. Just letting the joints know what we're going to be asking of it. And then you pause. So activate the legs. Think about hugging the front heel and the back knee towards the midline. And then if it feels okay, you'll lift that right arm up. That's going to encourage a stretch. You might feel the ribs splay. You want to try to keep the ribs hugging towards each other for this. And then see if you could arch towards the left. And then come back to center. And let's step the back foot up to the front. And come into a deep knee bend, forward fold. Let the forearms rest on the thighs. Let the head make some circles here. And just think about the neck just lengthening, allowing the vertebrae in the neck to find space. Nice. I think those circles in the other direction. And hands come on the hips, and inhale, you rise up. Pause here for a moment. Again, think about lengthening the front of the hips. So breathe in, feel that air, creating a lift. It travels up the front of the body. It circles over the skull. And as it comes down, you've got that downward energy that's drawing your shoulder blades down your back. It's drawing your tailbone down towards the ground, and you're rooted through your heels. And now inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold halfway. Press into the legs, nice long spine. Inhale, bend the knees, come into your chair pose, Utkatasana. Imagine a block between your thighs. You're squeezing the thighs together. Imaginary drawstring hugging towards the midline. And then inhale, rise. Take a gentle back bend. Again, stretching those hip flexors. Exhale, release the arms down. Step the right foot back for warrior one. Get another opportunity to stretch this hip flexor. And let's just flow in and out of this. Arms rise up, and then you straighten and lower. You bend and reach, and lower. And now let's pause. You're in your warrior. Engage the core. Again, imagine a huge beach ball, and your thighs are hugging in towards the midline. And then exhale, step forward, release. Step the left leg back. Arms rise up. And float in and out of this 3 times. And not only are we warming the muscles up, but we're also warming the brain up to all the nuances that we're going to ask it to direct the body towards. And just hold your warrior one. Think about hugging the legs. A gentle lift of the belly, a gentle lengthening of the tailbone. And then exhale, step forward. Let's just roll those shoulders around. And take it in a new direction. And how's everybody doing?
Good.
Good. So let's add on a couple more sequencing. Inhale, rise up, gentle back. Exhale, fold halfway. Press into the legs, nice long spine. Right leg steps back for warrior one. And flow in and out 3 times. Just pause with the arms up. And then see if you can arch towards the left. You might want to put your left hand on your left hip. Again, we're trying to stretch out the top of the hip. And then come back through center. Extend the right arm forward, the left arm back. And you're twisting towards the left. Inhale back to the center. And exhale, step forward. Nice. The left leg steps back for warrior one. Just flow in and out of this. And then you pause. Take your right hand on the right hip. Left arm reaches over. So as the left arm is sort of lengthening from the top of the hip, have the hip to the foot resisting. That's your anchor. And then inhale back up to center. Extend the right arm, left arm forward, right arm back. Back to the center. Exhale, step forward, release. Inhale, reach up, gentle back bend. Exhale, fold halfway. Press into the legs, nice long spine. On your inhale, chair pose. Utkatasana. Shift the weight to the left foot. So you actually come up onto the ball of the right. Stay here or lift the foot up ever so much. Stay here or or head towards your eagle, where you wrap the right foot around the left, sink a little lower, and maybe wrap the arms around. Unwrap everything when you've had enough of that. Come into a forward fold. Press into the legs. Let the hands slide down the legs. Come into a sort of seaweed-like forward fold and just let the body sway. And then hands on the hips as you rise up. Inhale, reach up, gentle back bend. Exhale, fold halfway. Press into the legs. And chair pose. Shift the weight to the right foot. So you might find this is enough of a balance challenge for you. You can stay right here, or maybe you float the leg up. Maybe you begin to, take the foot across, maybe the big toes touching, or maybe it wraps around. And then left arm underneath the right. And release all that when you've had enough. Exhale, arms come down. And just roll out the shoulders again. Taking them back. And then forward. All right, so we'll do another sort of forward, hip forward. Inhale, reach out, gentle back. Exhale, fold half. Press into the legs, nice long spine. Step the right leg back, and if you can, this is going to be a little trickier with balance. Can you keep the heel lifted? So we were doing this before, which is a different kind of stretch on the back hip. Can you have the hips facing straight forward and the heels lifted? And that's going to challenge the balance a little bit more. Arms coming up and challenges the balance even more. And then you straighten and bend. And then you pause. Option to dive to the inside of that left leg and rise up 3 times. So you don't have to take the torso. You could do just as we did, just the arms. Try to keep that front leg just as it is. So that front leg should be getting pretty tired. And then we pause after 3. Have your gaze straight forward. Begin to shift the weight to that front foot, and maybe the back leg lifts. And then step it forward. All right. Any questions on that one before we do the other side? All right. And it might be helpful to be near a wall too, if the balance was a little frustrating. And you'll reach up, gentle back bend. Exhale. Hands on the thighs, nice long spine. And then the the right leg goes back, or the left leg, sorry, I forget which one it was. You would think I would know by them being tired. And then on your inhale, you rise up. Steady yourself here. And then maybe do the straighten and arms. And you'll notice that whenever you add movement, it challenges the balance even more. You'll pause after 3. And then fix your gaze on a single spot forward. You can just shift the weight and then maybe lift that back leg up. Try to drop the right hip so the hips stay level. And then step to the front. Now let's step the right leg for warrior 2. This might feel a little nice having a wider surface balance. Let's just straighten the front leg and then bend it. Now can you take the arms out to the sides? And as you inhale, straighten the leg, arms reach up. As you exhale, you lower. And just do that 3 times. And then you pause. Let the back hand come to the back leg and reach that front arm up and back. So again, we're doing that quadratus lumborum muscle. Keep that front knee bent. And then inhale through center. Let that left forearm come on the thigh. Reach that right arm forward and then maybe up. Can you twist a little bit more? Rise up and reverse just for a breath. And then inhale, step the back foot up to meet the front. Inhale, rise, gentle back bend. And then step the left leg back. Warrior 2 stance. Straighten the front leg. And then bend it. Arms can come out to the front. And then you flow. Just 3 times here. And then back hand on the back leg, top arm reaches up. I stretch to the right side. Noticing where the resistance is and trying to breathe into it. Inhale through center. Right forearm on right thigh, left arm comes overhead. And then inhale, rise. Just do a counter stretch for a bleep. And windmill the hands to the front and step the back foot up. Inhale, rise. Take a gentle back bend. Exhale, release the hands to the sides. All right, how's everybody doing?
Good.
All right, you guys want another sequence or do you want to hit the ground?
I'm going to hit the ground.
Yeah,
I'd like to hit the ground too.
let's hit. All right, sorry, Nan. All right, so let's come to the floor, but we'll have a little compromise here. We'll do some core on the floor for Nan. If you want to, dial it down a little on the floor, then definitely dial it down. All right, so let's come to just balancing on our sit bones, and we've got our heels. So let's take the inflatable and put it in between the knees here. And then maybe you lift the legs up. That's, totally optional. Or maybe you're keeping them down. And on your inhale, you can take your hands behind your head. On your inhale, you can squeeze the block as you crunch. And then extend. Inhale, squeeze and crunch. And then extend. Squeeze. Extend. Squeeze, crunch, and extend. Just 2 more. And release. Let's just extend the legs long. Shake out the legs. Now let's come onto our blocks. Keep your ball handy. Block comes between the knees again. Feet are at 90 degrees. Let's start with the palms facing down. And then just draw your knees away from you. Once you feel your lower back lift off the floor, stop. And then bring them in. We'll just do that a couple more times. Draw the knees away, keeping the lower back gravitating towards the floor, and then back. Let's do 2 more of those. Extend away, squeezing the ball. Come back. Extend away. And come back. So palms are facing down. Let's let the knees drop towards the left. They're not going to touch. And now the bottom leg presses up and pushes the top leg up. And then you come to the right. Same thing, you hover and then press the right knee into the ball. So you'll feel probably the whole obliques, the whole side of your body. Now you decide how far down you want to go. And then you press up. Let's go to the right. Press up. And go to the left. Now make sure that the top knee is staying over the bottom knee. So there's a tendency for the top knee to just kind of hang back. Let's just do 1 more each side. Very nice. And let's remove the ball, lower the legs down. Your arms to your sides. And let's press up into a gentle bridge pose, just to create a nice stretch in the front of the hips. A lot of times when we're doing our core movements, it can create a shortening in the front of the hips. So we're just using this as a stretch. And then release. All right, so this one is going to have an opportunity for more strengthening if that's what you're looking for. Again, if you're chilling, if the energy is low, come into a supported bridge pose. The other option is going to be working the glutes. So press up into your bridge pose. And then you could just have more weight pressing on this left foot, or you could lift the right leg up. And then as you lower down, the right leg hovers. And then you press up, the right leg goes to the ceiling. So let's just do 4 more of these. Now notice if that knee is wobbling, if there's some stability, and just make sure that the knee feels okay. And then after you've done 4, both feet on the ground. Press into the right foot to side. If you want to lift the left, again, the 2 sides might be quite different. And then as you lower, the leg comes down. As you lift, the leg goes up. We're just doing a total of 6 of these. And when you finish your 6, come into our bridge pose. Let's just hold for a few breaths. And lowering down. Heel toe your feet out wider than the edges of the mat. So we started with this movement, windshield wipering the knee side to side. Just notice how it feels at this point in your practice compared to the beginning of your practice. And then if you know you have a tighter side, let the knees linger first in the opposite direction of the tighter side. So if your right side is tighter, then let the knees drop to the left. And if this is bothering the knee, you can maybe finagle a ball. It's easier said than done to support the knee. And you can move to the other side, or you could linger there a little bit longer. If you have one side that, if you have big differences in the two sides and one side needs a little bit more time. We'll just have a few more breaths with the knees towards the right. Back up to the center. Heel toe the feet together. Follow the right knee in, extend the left leg long. Let's just hold this for a few breaths, watching the rise and fall of the belly. Encouraging the lower back to let go. And you can take that across the body. And into your spinal twist. And making sure that right hip stacks over the left. So. And go back to center when you're ready. Hug that knee. And then extend the right leg, extend the arms overhead. And think about stretching the front of the hip, stretching the whole front of the body here. Left knee comes in, give it a little hug. And then let that knee come up the body. And come back to the center. Opening in. Breaths. And once again, extend it long, nice full body stretch. And then bending the knees, sliding a block underneath the tailbone. So making sure that lower back arch is free of the block. You're welcome to stay here, supported bridge, for the most grounding option. You can lift up the feet, maybe extend them up towards the ceiling. Again, this can be a really nice pose to take if you're just feeling kind of lazy in the legs. You can add some movements, maybe circling the ankles. And you can flow into a split. Maybe bend the knees, extend, close the split. Yeah, just sort of freestyle here. Just notice if there's any other final movements you'd like to take before transitioning to Shavasana. Whenever you're ready, there's no hurry. You can find your relaxation position. And take a moment to scan your body. Notice if there's any, even a millimeter of an adjustment that you could make that would allow you to find a little bit more ease. And find something to anchor your attention. It could be the breath. That's what we use quite frequently. Watching the breath in, the sensations it creates, then following the breath out. It could be a word or a phrase. Breathing in, I receive. Exhaling out, I let go.
This anchor can be helpful for anchoring your attention and also just noticing when your attention wanders. Allow your next breath to be a little longer, a little deeper. And notice the sensations that come with this longer, deeper breath. You can invite gentle movements whenever you're ready. Maybe wiggling your feet or letting your head flow. Notice how it feels to move after stillness. And when and if you're ready, you can roll to your side. Take a moment in this nourishing position to offer yourself thanks. Doing something good for your body, your mind, your spirit. When you're ready, you can make your way up to seated. If you'd like to join me in a chant of Om, take a deep breath in. Om. Namaste. Thank you guys.